Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about relative valuation. In the past lecture and discussions, we have been focused on the discounted cash flow techniques, also known as the intrinsic valuation. But what if you do not want to undergo the process of discounted cash flow techniques? Maybe you find it hard to make assumptions regarding the free cash flows to the firm or free cash flows to equity, the appropriate discount rate, and the constant growth rate to be assumed. There are just a lot of things that needs to be assumed. Under relative valuation, you don't have to do it anymore. Let us leave it to the market to make such assumptions and provide us the value. This is what we do under relative valuation. To define relative valuation is a technique in estimating value that gives reference to similar assets in the market. We use their price as the basis for the valuation. Let us assume that we have to value the stock of XYZ Corporation. The first step in relative valuation is to look for comparables. Let us say that XYZ is a telecommunications or telco company. What we have to do is to look for other telecom or telco companies in the market, preferably the ones that have market prices. So let us say we have the following: GHI Corporation, ABC Company, and DEF Incorporated. We assume that these are the telco companies with available stock prices in the market. This seems to be an easy step. However, for other companies, this is not as easy. For example, how would you create a list of comparables for a conglomerate, say San Miguel Corporation? Are we going to look for other conglomerates in the market? Those under the SM Group and the Ayala Group? Well, we cannot technically do that because these conglomerates have subsidiaries from industries that are different from those of the industries of SMC's, San Miguel Corporation's subsidiaries. And what about tech companies, say SpaceX? Are companies involved in the development of spacecraft part of the aircraft industry? That is a very complex issue. Again, we have to observe the stock prices of the comparable companies. The next step is to scale the prices to a common variable. Note that the stock prices are not necessarily comparable with one another. Say company M and company P. Both companies belong to the same industry. They are of the same size and they are of the same everything. Except that company P's equity is divided into 10 million stocks outstanding, while company M's equity is divided to 1 billion stocks outstanding. Obviously, the price of the stock of company P would not be comparable to that of company M. Thus, we have to scale them to a common measure. We can accomplish this through the use of multiples. Common examples of multiples are the price to earnings ratio, PE, the price to book ratio, PB, etc. For this case, we will use the price to earnings ratio, PE. Let us make an assumption on the stock prices of the comparable companies. Let us say GHI 33 pesos, ABC Company 20 pesos, DEF Incorporated 9 pesos. Again, We have just discussed that we cannot simply compare these prices to one another. We have to scale them. We have to divide them by a common measure. In the case of price to earnings ratio, it would be the earnings per share. We are going to make another assumption on their earnings per share. GHI Corporation, 6 pesos. ABC Company, 4 pesos. DEF Incorporated, 2 pesos. Calculating their PE ratios, we have 5.5 times for GHI Corporation, 5 times for ABC Company, and 4.5 times for DEF Incorporated. As you can see, the average price of stocks in the telco industry is around 5 times their earnings per share. If the market is telling us this, we would assume that it is reliable under relative valuation. We assume that on average, the market is correct in pricing the stocks. Individually, maybe that's not the case, but on average, it is. However, we have to account for the fact that each telco company is unique. We have to account for differences. That is the third and final step in relative valuation. Is XYZ company growing at a faster pace? Maybe we should pay for it at a higher multiple. Say 7 times of EPS instead of the average 5 times because of its growth prospects. Differences like this should be controlled. For this example, we assume that the differences are not significant between XYZ and the rest of the telco companies. If we assume that the earnings per share of XYZ Corporation is 3 pesos, the stock's value must be around 15 pesos. That is, we multiply 5 by 3. Again, this is how we perform relative valuation. Again, relative valuation is a technique that gives reference to similar assets in the market. We use its price as the basis for the valuation. That would be it for today. Like, share, and subscribe this video. Like, share, and subscribe.